Hello everybody, Razorblade Mango here, and this is the final long-delayed list, my top 10, well, not top, I don't want to associate top with any of these fucking films. The bottom 10 films, the worst 10 I saw in 2015. And as I said in my best of 2015 video, I thought when it came to movies, 2015 was just a black void. It was just full of mediocrity, crap, disappointments. I'm glad it's over. I'll just say that. And now I can have my final sweet vengeance, my retribution against these films the 10 that I had to suffer through. And the 10 films, not all of them that I hated, because I use that word very, very conservatively. I don't say I hate a lot. Like, I don't say love a lot when it comes to products. But some of these I absolutely hated. And this video is my chance to finally give one last blow against these films. So, strap yourselves in, sit back, relax. These are the worst films of 2015. Number 10 is the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. Ugh. And this is one that hurt. This hurt me. Like, there's a lot of films on this list that I'm indifferent towards, but I still think are really, really bad. But this is one where it hurt. Because I used to be a big SpongeBob fan. When I was like a kid, I used to come home a lot. There were two shows that I mainly look forward to after school: Beavis and Butthead and SpongeBob. And this film hurt me as a former SpongeBob, mega fan. This is like watching a comedian you used to love back in the day put on this comeback show, and it ends up being painful and shitty and stupid. And this movie went on and on. It had no form. It had no good structure. It was a bunch of just loud, stupid noise. Just blah, 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 I'm SpongeBob, blah, 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 blah. None of the jokes landed for me. There's maybe only, a few that I, mildly smiled at just because of how absurd it all was. Usually the SpongeBob surrealism that they do, I usually find that really funny, especially, in the old cartoons. But not here, not in goddamn Sponge Out of Water, and that live action segment that they're plastering all over that they plastered all over the trailers and all over the posters, that's only a quarter of the movie. And even then, it's not that funny. I mean, it's in the CGI is just shoddy, and I don't like it. I don't like SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water. And now they're gonna do SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water 2. Which, I don't know why the fuck they did that. I don't know why the fuck they did Sponge Out of Water. The first SpongeBob SquarePants movie is really good. It's really funny. Perfectly captures the spirit of the show. This does not. This is a hack job. And they are hacking away at a property that I used to really enjoy. So, say no. No to SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water. Stick with the original film. It's much better, much funnier. This is just crap. It's crap. Number 9 is Irrational Man, the latest film from the very uneven Woody Allen. I know Woody Allen is this American gem at this point. At least that's the term that Roger Ebert coined for him. But when you make a film, when you release a film every year, there's going to be a point where you're going to come across some duds, and he's made quite a few in the past. I am not, and I will admit, I am not a big Woody Allen fan. Even the films of his that are like apparently masterpieces, I just can't get into. Like, I cannot get into Annie Hall. I tried getting in Manhattan, I just can't. But there's other stuff of his that I do really like. I really like Midnight in Paris. I really like Purple Rose of Cairo. I like, I know I've seen other films of it. He's just made so many at this point that I'm just struggling to think of ones that I've liked. But yeah, I like, in my opinion, he's just a very inconsistent director. And oh boy, Irrational Man, holy shit, this is by far like the worst film I've seen from him. And it sucks because it has a really good cast. It's got Joaquin Phoenix in it, it's got Emma Stone, it's got Parker Posey. But oh my god, just the whole film is all about Joaquin Phoenix being this fucking, oh, I'm a tortured philosopher, so let me fucking kill somebody so I can have this existential relief from myself, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm gonna be all quirky and comedy, and Emma Stone, oh my god. Look, I love Emma Stone. Emma Stone's cool, but her character in this film is an irritating bitch. I hated her the whole way through. She like flip-flops between her boyfriend, and then she wants to sleep with Joaquin Phoenix for no fucking reason other than, oh, he's dangerous, he wants to commit suicide, he's so philosophically tortured, he's going through so much existentialism, let me sleep with him because he's so existentially tortured. It's a bunch of bullshit. And I know Woody Allen has this thing about philosophical, quirky dialogue, but it sucks in Irrational Man. The whole film just sucks. And by the time it gets to the stupid bullshit ending, after all this bullshit philosophical babble and dumb murder mystery, black comedy bullshit, I had enough. Like, after the stupid shit ending, I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm glad it's over. I never want to sit through this again. This is Woody Allen at his worst, and I hope Cafe Society is a lot better than this, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the trailer for that. He needs another hit after this. He needs another Midnight in Paris. He needs another Purple Rose of Cairo. Irrational Man is like the opposite end of the spectrum. It's shit. It's just bunch of bullshit, babble, shit. Number 8 is Aloha. And oh my god, speaking of Emma Stone. So I will admit, I wasn't all that bothered by, I guess, the racist casting of Emma Stone as a Hawaiian. They just put a bunch of orange bleach on her and they're like, oh, you're Hawaiian now. I mean, it's shitty, but I was more like, oh my god. It's more like rolling my eyes than grab the pitchforks and torches, let's go. But even after, I saw this movie months ago, and literally after it was over, I had no idea what the fuck happened in that movie. I didn't understand anything that happened. It like, none of the characters made any sense. It was, I don't know what Cameron Crowe was doing here. I don't know what he was doing. It's just like this like fairy tale, fantasy, feel-good bullshit, romance thing. I don't know what the fuck is this movie trying to be? I don't get it. And again, it's a talented cast, based on a shitty script, from like a director who hasn't been good in years. I think the last Cameron Crowe movie I remember being worth a shit, I guess, was, I don't know, I guess I'm Almost Famous. Is that the last time he was good? Or Jerry Maguire? I don't know. But the whole film just feels so empty. It is vacuous. When you try looking at this movie, there's nothing there. It's just a bunch of admittedly strong actors, good-looking people, just talking about nonsense. It's nonsense. And I guess there's this subplot. Let me give you an example. There's a subplot in the movie where John Krasinski's character, who's Rachel McAdams' husband, he's doing this sworn silence thing where a vow of silence. He's doing a vow of silence, and I never understood why he was doing it. It's like, oh, his wife is just like, oh, my husband is in a vow of silence. And that's it. There's no fucking reason for it. He just does a vow of silence, and then when he tries communicating with Bradley Cooper, they have some telepathic communication with subtitles and everything. They don't say anything to each other, and then it's like you see the subtitles of their thoughts interacting, and it's some psychological telepathy. What the fuck was going on in this movie? I don't get it. And even months after racking my fucking brain trying to figure out what the fuck happened in this thing, I don't get it. I don't understand this movie. It's some comedy, drama, romance. What the fuck? I don't get it. It's just fucking dumb. The whole movie, it makes no sense. It's edited like an idiot monkey fucking just threw all the reels of film and then just edit it together with nothing. A bunch of dumb narration and then quick stuff, and it's like it's baffling. It's just, I genuinely had no idea what the hell was going on most of the time in this. I was just so confused. Like watching the movie, it's boring. Oh my god. And it's not like it's a fascinating mess or anything. It's not like Pan is so fucking weird that I became fascinated by it. Just how weird it was, and how Joe Wright just swung for the fences. That movie. It's not a good movie, but it's a fascinating little thing. But Aloha is dull. Right from the get-go, you don't give a shit. You just go, oh my god. And Bradley Cooper's a very good actor. I've always really liked him. And he's proven himself to be a very capable leading man. But he's got nothing to work with here. He has jack shit to work with. So it's just him stumbling around from one character to the next. And then these characters just stumble around each other. He stumbles around Rachel McAdams, stumbles around Bill Murray, stumbles around Alec Baldwin, stumbles around Danny McBride. And it's like, it's a great cast wasted on a terrible script with terrible editing. And it's a movie that has no fucking idea what it wants to be. Cameron Crowe himself came out and apologized for the movie. That's how bad this is. The director came out and was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I made a bad movie. Wow. So, yeah, take it from the fucking director himself. Don't watch Aloha. Just don't. You're better off just trying to make your own movie. If you really want to watch this, have a drinking game for every time this fucking thing doesn't make any sense. You'll die by the end of the first half. You'll be dead. Because this movie makes no fucking sense whatso goddamn ever. Aloha. Just nothing. Just I don't know what the fuck this movie was. Just no. No Cameron Crowe. Just wow. No. Number 7 is Mordecai. Oh, Johnny Depp. Why? Look, okay, some history for between me and Johnny Depp. I used to be a mega fan of Johnny Depp back in 2007 through 2010. There was a time where I thought he was the best living actor out there. I was convinced that every performance he gave at that time was great, and I would go out to see movies that I wouldn't even have any interest in just for him. I went out and watched that the Rum Diary, which turned out to be not all that good. I watched the Alice in Wonderland movie, which was shit. He did Dark Shadows, which was shit. And I mean, people now know the steep decline in Johnny Depp's career over these past few years, and even he'll turn in a great performance once in a while, like Black Mass, which I think he's great in, but then he'll do something like Mordecai, and he's been very vocal that he doesn't care about giving great performances. He only wants to do films that he thinks is fun. And I don't get where the fun was in Mordecai. I don't get it. It's not funny. It's Johnny Depp doing a grating accent the whole way through. I mean, he's usually really good at these kind of like English accents. He's done a remarkable job with them in the past, but his character and accent is grating. It is just, you want to stab this guy. You hate him. I hate Johnny Depp in this movie, and I've only said that maybe like a few other times, but that was for crap like the astronaut's wife and that Chocolat movie he was in, which is a great movie if you haven't seen it, but he's terrible in it. But this is just Johnny Depp is just at this point in his career where it used to be where whenever I'd see his name, I'd go, oh, hell yeah. But now, when I see his name, I go, oh, God, no. Please. Oh. Because I know, one, it's probably going to suck or not be all that good. Two, it's going to be a box office bomb. And three, it's going to be painful for somebody that used to be a big Johnny Depp fan. And this is just and it's not all Johnny Depp's fault. That I will admit. I mean, he's the producer on it. He produced this fucking thing, so yeah, a good chunk of it is his fault. But you've got David Koepp, who was once a great screenwriter, and doing this shit. I'm just shocked, and the writing is not funny. I don't know why this movie was rated R. I mean, there's a point in the movie when in the trailer he says, no, I don't, I have a bloody manservant. But in the movie, just to make it R, he says, no, I have a fucking manservant. And saying fucking as opposed to bloody does not make that joke any goddamn funnier. And I just, why was this rated R? Why the fuck was this rated R? I don't get it. I just don't get Mordecai. But I sat there, and I almost went to go see this with a friend. My friend Mario. I've had him on the show before, but god damn, this is... No, I was going to see this. I was going to drag my poor friend to see this, but thankfully, the theater was like, oh, it's a private screening. So we ended up going to see The Wedding Ringer instead. And that was so much better. That was really funny, because, you know, it's Kevin Hart, and I love Kevin Hart. I think that movie's really funny. But we ended up renting this a few months later when it came out on DVD. Oh my god, it was laboriously slow. An hour and 46 minutes of, oh my god, of garbage comedy, of Johnny Depp making a fucking fool of himself in this character that doesn't give any of, and I will never deny that he is talented. He is talented. He has a lot of talent. He's delivered fantastic performances in the past. I mean, look at Ed Wood. He's so funny in that. Look at Edward Scissorhands. Look at what the fuck is the Pirates of the Caribbean? He's so great in that. Sweeney Todd, he's fantastic. Even films of his that people hate, I think he's good in. I think he's good in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I think he's good in what the fuck was that movie with the other one? Sleepy Hollow, I think he's good in. But this is not Johnny Depp. Don't, please, just stop. Johnny, stop. Stop. As somebody that used to love your work, as someone who still thinks you've got talent, stop. Just look at the scripts next time. Look at the scripts and go, is this something that's going to further my career? Because you've had your period, your period of time where you've gone out and you've done films for fun, and you've got some of the worst performances of your career these past few years. With Dark Shadows, I still think being the low point, because that's a terrible film. But Mordecai is unbearable. It's unbearable as a comedy. It's unbearable as a Johnny Depp fan. It's unbearable just in the realm of filmmaking. It is like it's like the Pink Panther, except much worse. And I actually like the Steve Martin Pink Panther movies. I know people shit on those, but I mean, this is the movie that I'm like, oh god, if this is what you saw with those Pink Panther movies, I understand. This is shit. But yeah, I'm sorry, Johnny. You need to fire your agent. You need to do better, buddy, because this Mordecai bullshit is not doing you any fucking favors. Number 6 is Vacation. Speaking of bad comedies, oh boy, this is a movie that, it's one of those movies that pretends to be all warm and cuddly and heartwarming. Oh, we're just a movie about family, bringing the family together, family bonding, and yet this family is bonding over pedophilia jokes and incest jokes and rape jokes and just being a fucking cold-hearted bully piece of shit. That's pretty much what this movie is. It's a movie that pretends that it's all heartwarming and sweet and nice, but on the inside, it's a fucking cancer. It is just, it's this like psychopathic bully that just makes fun of everybody. I mean, it's evident right from the get-go, right from the opening scene, and oh my god, all the predictable jokes. Every joke in this movie you can see coming a mile away. You're just like, oh, look at that, he's gonna fall over, and he's gonna grab her tits. That's pretty much how this is gonna go. Oh, there he goes, he fell over and grabbed her tits. That's the joke. Oh, he did it again, he fell over and grabbed her tits again. Oh, he's staring around awkwardly now. Oh, and look at that, he fell on her tits again and grabbed him again. Oh, look at that, that's so funny. Oh, look at that, the father doesn't want to tell his son what a rim job is, so he tells him an incorrect definition of rim job, so then the kid can tell others what he thinks rim job means and get a reaction of, oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, look at that, he just told his potential girlfriend what he thought a rim job was. So, oh no, and look, she's looking at him weird. Oh no, and that's the joke. It's fucking boring and it's stupid, and I'm thoroughly unpleasant. Just an unpleasant movie. It's barely funny, and I'm glad this movie bombed. I'm glad it's faded into obscurity, because it's not a movie that's worthy of the spotlight. It's one of those comedies that comes out that's stupid and predictable and mean-spirited, and it's a waste of fucking time. Number 5 is Hotel Transylvania 2. Ooh, and this is where we start getting into the really bad stuff. I cannot for the life of me figure out why these movies are popular. I don't get it. I've heard stories about how these movies are shown every Halloween, families love them, and kids love them, and I just don't get it. This is like the Despicable Me movies, where I watch them and I'm completely unfazed, if not annoyed, by how aggressive and loud and stupid they are. And Hotel Transylvania 2 is one of the worst in that situation. It is like, it's so annoying. And everything that apparently Dracula learned in the first movie, like, oh, I have to, take a step back and let my daughter, live her life. But in this movie, he doubles down on his efforts to control her life, even after she's had a goddamn baby. And now the fucking husband gets in on it, where it's like, my daughter's husband, you must go and go show her America, go show her suburban life, blah, blah, blah. And then I will be over here and try to get her baby to fly and be a vampire, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like the husband is in on it. The husband's in on, like, Dracula trying to force his daughter's life so that he can creepily be around her all the time, because he has these daddy paternal issues. And then you got some stupid shit where, like, and then the whole message is just destroyed by the end, where the kid, it's like, blah, 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 I should accept the kid is going to be a human, blah, 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 and the kid turns out to be a vampire anyway, because, of course, he has to, for this dumb action scene at the end, and the villain comes out at the last 5 minutes, and it makes no sense, and it's totally stupid, and I could not take it. This movie to me was miserable. the whole way through. And I cannot stand Adam Sandler, but damn, I thought it would be different with these animated movies. I thought maybe this is where he'd find his true calling. No, these are just as annoying as his live action movies, his recent ones. I mean, it's not Jack and Jill, but it's fucking annoying. Again, this movie is just everything I cannot stand about modern family animation. It is just loud, it's dumb, has all these dumb pop culture references, it has a terrible message behind it, and it's boring. It's just there as a digital babysitter. It's not there as something I've said this. I don't know how many times I've said this on my channel, but my favorite kind of animated movies are the ones that feel timeless. Those are my favorite. I have my exceptions, like Shrek. I think Shrek is great. I still love Shrek even after all these years, but it's clearly a product of the early 2000s. But this, it already, even after like the months I've seen it, it already feels outdated. It doesn't feel timeless, and it doesn't feel timeless. Even the first one doesn't work. I rewatched the first one after I went to go see this, and it's still shit. Still a shit movie. Both of them shit. And I dread the day that they're going to come out with Hotel Transylvania 3, because of course that's what they're going to do. And I'm not looking forward to it. And I'm probably not even going to fucking see it, because I just cannot stand these movies. I cannot stand the way they're made. I can't stand watch, the third one is going to be the exact same plot as this one, except much worse now, where blah blah blah, I'm continuing my daddy abandonment paternal issues, blah 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 blah, I must have my daughter and control her life, blah 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 blah. And it's going to be the same fucking thing as before. And all the kids are going to laugh it up behind the 3D glasses. All the parents are going to be asleep. But, you know, hey, it's a fucking digital babysitter. Who gives a fuck about expanding a child's imagination? You know what? Fuck this. Just fucking forget Hotel Transylvania 2. If you want to show your kids something, if you want to show your kids, like, a good Halloween movie, show them Paranorman. Show them Coraline. Yes, they're dark. They can be a little dark. They can be a little mature. But they are much better. They feel timeless. They have great characters, great messages behind them. Look at that. One end of the spectrum. Paranorman and Coraline, two great films. Paranorman, I think, is even better. I love Paranorman. Hotel Transylvania. It's stupid. Provides no life lessons to learn from. In fact, it's worse. It's worse for kids, because then they go, oh, well, this guy is controlling his daughter's life, and he's always right. Oh, I guess I'll do the same. Blah, 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 blah. And just, fuck you. Fuck this movie. Fuck this series. Hotel Transylvania movies, they're fucking dumb. Okay? They're fucking dumb. Oh, Jesus Christ. Number 4. Is Chappie. Oh God, Chappie! Oh God. Oh Jesus. So, Chappie is, there's no other word for this. Chappie is fucking insanely dumb. I know I said Hotel Transylvania 2 is dumb. Chappie takes it to a whole nother extreme with this. This has got to be one of the dumbest movies I have ever seen. Its central core concept about a robot, a childlike robot, becoming sentient and learning to embrace humanity and be human and stuff like that. That's great. Okay, that concept I find interesting. I liked what I saw from the trailer. I thought this was going to be like a new Pinocchio story. No. That central conceit is wasted. So wasted by bringing in this dumb gangster story bullshit with this stupid action movie, and then we gotta get into this religious philosophical subtext about how, like, I don't even know what this movie was trying to do. Let me give you an example of what this movie, how insane this movie gets. So I'm gonna spoil the ending of Chappie. So, you know what? Yeah, I'm spoiling the ending. I'm gonna talk about the ending of Chappie. So the ending of Chappie, after all this bullshit, is that he realizes that, I mean, they've made a point in this movie about how, oh, consciousness is not just numbers. It's a metaphysical thing. It's nigh ununderstandable. But by the end of the movie, Chappie is like, oh, I found out that consciousness is just a bunch of zeros and ones, so I can transform it into a computer and transfer consciousness to people. So his creator gets shot, okay? The creator gets killed. So he's like, oh, Chappie, I'm going to transfer my consciousness. I'm going to transfer consciousness into a new robot host so my creator can live as a robot now. And what does he use to power his consciousness transferring machine? PlayStation 4s! I'm not kidding! You think I'm joking? Literally, in like another scene in the movie, you see Chappie carrying this big stack of PlayStation 4s, which already, being a Sony-produced movie, I rolled my eyes nearly into the back of my skull. I was like, oh my god. This movie is like the worst PlayStation 4 commercial ever. Like, it gives PlayStation a bad name. I guess that's extra fuck you points for that. But, and like, he puts together, connects all these, like, tons of PlayStation 4s, and that's how he makes his conscience transferring machine. Using PlayStation 4s. So then, he transfers his creator's consciousness into the robot body, and the robot body, he's like, oh, I'm happy again. And that, to me, is disturbing on, like, a science fiction level, because now, Chappie has discovered the secret to immortality. So when people die, he can just transfer their bodies to a new consciousness, which, I'm not even going to get into this. I hate that this movie is, like, just throws away the idea of, like, him breaking the idea of life itself. And they don't do anything interested with it. It's just used as a dumb fairy tale ending where Chappie's like, oh, I have magically come up with the secret of life, so now everybody cannot die and live forever. Everybody can live forever in these robot bodies. Death no longer exists in this world. Wow. Wowie. And that's the ending they go with. It's like out of fucking left field, where all the characters, like, this whole time it's some, like, dumb drama gangster action thing. You've got a Die Antwoord in it they're both given nothing to do. Neither Ninja and Yolandi are horrible characters. I hated them both. I hated Chappie. Chappie is an annoying little shit. I hated his creator. I hated Hugh Jackman. I hated Sigourney Weaver. I hated almost every character in this movie. The only character I like is their, like, Mexican friend that's on the side, who gets fucking torn in half at the end of the movie. And, like, this movie could have passed for PG-13 if it wasn't for the language and some of the like, imagery on the walls with graffiti. And that's it, like, with the Die Antwoord stuff, and Die Antwoord's playing themselves, which, what the fuck, I have no idea. But then, like, in the last half of the movie, fucking Hugh Jackman, he's like, I will show Chappie that my robot is the better robot to do police justice. So he gets in this fucking RoboCop machine that murders people. Like, he grabs the Mexican guy, fucking tears him in half, like, literally tears him in half, kills a bunch of people, and that's the weapon he was going to use to be a cop. That's not going to fucking happen, buddy. And then Hugh Jackman's like, I'm the villain now, and it's fucking dumb. There's so much about this movie that's dumb. And this goes to show, at this point, Neil Blomkamp is a one-trick pony. He is. He's made the same movie 3 times in a row. District 9's pretty good. I like District 9. I don't think it's hold up all that well when I see it today, but it's still a good, decent movie. Elysium was crap. I had Elysium on my my worst movie of the 2013 list, which I still think is crap. This is even worse. Chappie is worse. I would much rather take Elysium over this. Elysium has many big problems, but Elysium knows what it is. It's a science fiction action movie. There. You chose your genre, you get on with it. That's what Elysium knew. Chappie does not. Chappie wants to have all these different genres thrown in and wants to be its own thing, which usually I admire. I admire the ambition, but the final product itself is garbage. Chappie is garbage. bash this robot's brain in, throw him on the fucking dumpster, take him to a goddamn smelting yard and just smelt this fucking robot to nothing. This movie sucks. I almost hated Chappie. I almost did. And this was, literally, this is the only reason I saw this. After everything I saw in the other trailers, besides the first one, the other trailers, I was like, well, this is kind of worrying. There's stuff in here I don't like. And literally every movie Neil Blomkamp has made, it has to be set in shitty-ass South Africa. It always has to be set in South Africa. So the South African government must hate Neil Blomkamp at this point, because he's portrayed South Africa like 3 times, or as this slummy, shitty place. And I know it's L.A. in Elysium, but it's South Africa. That's what it is. It's South Africa. And every movie he has to have the evil military guy, the evil rogue guy. He had in District 9, he had in Sharlto Copley in Elysium, now he's got Hugh Jackman in fucking Chappie. And this is the guy that's going to do the next Alien movie. I know Ridley Scott is doing his own thing, but this, Neil Blomkamp is doing the Sigourney Weaver-driven Alien movie. And that has me very concerned, because not only Sigourney Weaver was fucking terrible in this movie, but Neil Blomkamp, he's a one-trick pony. That's all he is. He makes the same movie over and over again, and District 9, I think, was a fluke. I honestly think District 9 was a fluke. I think Peter Jackson steered that movie away from being mediocre, and now we have Chappie. Left to Neil Blomkamp's own devices, given carte blanche, we've had Elysium, which is crap, not horrible. Now we have Chappie, which is shit, and kind of horrible. So I'm done. I'm done with Neil Blomkamp. I hope his Alien movie is good, but my expectations are extremely low for it after Chappie. So, yeah, Chappie. Wow. the dumbest movie. Even more dumb probably than my number 1 choice for the worst of the year. It is one of, if not the dumbest movie I have ever fucking seen. Just nothing about it works. Except the CGI. The CGI is great, but nothing else about it. Everything where it counts doesn't work. Number 3 is Black Hat. And I just got bored saying that. So this is the most boring film I saw all year. As dumb as Chappie is, I would still mildly take Chappie over this. Which Black Hat is just boring. It is so brutally dull that I literally had to punch myself in the arm multiple times to stay awake. And you know what? I was actually interested in this movie after reading. A friend of mine wrote a really interesting, insightful review for it. I'll put it in the description below if you want to see it. But it is really, really good. It's a good review. Really good. Made me excited for the movie. And even looking at Black Hat, I understand what Michael Mann was going for. I understand. I see it. But I honestly don't find it all that interesting. I don't find it interesting. It is a really, really boring movie. And that's pretty much that's what kills the whole thing. Except there's terrible acting, of course. And I think that the movie looks ugly as sin with the just really ugly visual design. And people have proclaimed the digital cinematography. I hated it. I thought it looked just so bad. But this is the main killer. Black Hat is boring. It is, you just don't care. And I guess that's not what Michael Mann was going for. He didn't want to make characters that people cared about. It was all about the visual atmosphere. But when the visual atmosphere, in my opinion, is this ugly, that doesn't work for me either. You can get away with visual atmosphere and really good in something like Only God Forgives, which I love. Only God Forgives almost entirely for its audio-visual atmosphere, which is otherworldly in how good it is. But Black Hat is not. It looks ugly, it's boring, it's badly acted, and it's just a big misfire from Michael Mann. And I know people have been waiting around for a long time. I mean, this is like his first film since Public Enemies, which was 2009. I don't know what he saw in this script or in this movie to want to come back after 6 years to make this. I don't understand, and I probably never will. But yeah, Black Hat is 2 hours and 10 minutes of sheer, unadulterated boredom. And now we get into the hatred category. Number 2 is Ted 2. This is like Vacation's older, uglier brother, where it's another one of these fucking comedies that wants to pretend it's warm and cuddly and it's so wonderful, but inside it is vile. It is offensive. It is mean-spirited to the nth fucking degree. Just, I only laughed 3 times during this movie. Like, literally, when I can count how many times I've laughed during a movie on one hand, that's bad. That's not a good sign. And it's not like Ted 2 does anything original. Literally, when I sat down to watch this, I was dragged to this by a friend, which, fuck you, Richard, if you're watching this. This is just, like, I sat down and I was like, oh my god. I like, literally from the first 10 minutes, I visualized a roadmap of how this movie was going to go. And I called nearly every single thing that happened in this movie. I called it. I like when they stop at one point to smoke marijuana and you find out that Amanda Seyfried, who's fucking wasted in this movie, she's such a talented actress, and she's in this bullshit. And it's like, oh, she smokes weed too. I called that 30 minutes ago. Oh, they're going to go to Comic-Con because, of course, it's New York, and they're going to go to Comic-Con. Called it. They're going to have a point in the movie where Giovanni Ribisi comes back from the first movie. Called it. They're going to have a point where Ted is going to, or Mark Wahlberg is going to pretend being dead, and he's going to be like, ah, I told you I'm not dead anymore, because that's what the first movie did. I fucking called it. And then, literally everything in this movie, I visualized in my head. Like an hour to 45 minutes before it even happened, I fucking saw it. And literally, I just sat there feeling nothing except utter contempt for Seth MacFarlane. And I watched in my mind as, like, the roadmap just kept getting longer and longer. And finally, I was like, oh my god, I know what's going to happen at the end. And I waited for the ending. And finally, when the ending came, I was like, fuck this. This is just shit. This whole movie is shit. And I fucking hate this movie. And I don't even hate the first one. The first one I think is mediocre to okay. But this one, oh boy. And I avoided A Million Ways to Die in the West like the plague. But I imagine this, it can't be any worse than this. It cannot be any worse than Ted 2. It cannot be any worse than fucking Ted 2, where they make fun of, there's like probably the point where I, like, my jaw nearly hit the floor as to how fucking offensive it was. And I know that's how Seth MacFarlane operates. He just pokes you with a stick and he's like, I'm offending you. I'm offending you. I'm offending you. It's not like South Park, where they can be pretty fucking crude and offensive at times. Of course, it's South Park. But they have genuine insight into what they're making fun of. They satirize something with their fullest. And it doesn't, sometimes it does feel mean-spirited, but a lot of the time it doesn't. It feels very neutral. It's like they're shooting around and nobody's safe from gunfire. Ted 2 is more like, this is just being mean for the sake of being mean to get a cheap laugh. And there's a point in the movie where Ted wants to have a baby with Tammy, his wife, I guess. I don't know how the fuck that works, but okay. His wife is like, oh, I can't have babies because I smoked and drank all those years, and now I'm barren. I can't have kids. And they make fun of her for that. They literally have the Allstate guy come in and go, oh yeah, your uterus is so disgusting that I wanted to quit my career. And I sat there with my fucking jaw open as to how something could be so cruel and mean and ugly. And then that whole scene is just played for laughs. How Ted 2 is like Ted's like, ah, look at her. She's barren because she was a former drug addict. And it's not fucking funny. Yeah, you get, like, it's this hard, edgy humor that's just there to be a fucking mean fucking asshole. This movie is just a fucking asshole. And I hate everything that had to do with it. There's like only 3 times I laughed. I can literally count 3 times I laughed. 1, a guy just randomly jumps out the window. That I thought was funny. 2, Liam Neeson comes in as this weird pedophile that I just was like, what the fuck? And 3, there's a point where Amanda Seyfried parodies the Disney princess things. She strums on her guitar to summon the animals, and a fucking penguin comes out. I thought that was funny, okay? I laughed at that. That I will admit. But everything else, complete contempt, boredom, hated it. I hated Ted 2. This movie fucking sucked, and I never, ever, 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 ever in a million fucking years want to see a Ted 3 come into theaters. Fuck this movie. Fuck Seth MacFarlane. Fuck Mark Wahlberg. Fuck everybody involved with this. This is awful. It is the fucking devil. And the big one. The worst movie I saw all 2015. One of the very worst movies I have ever seen in my life. Jurassic World. Where do I even start with this? Okay, well, out of everything that I got out of this movie, the biggest thing that stood out to me is that it made me sad. And usually I say when a movie makes me sad, it's like, you know, a positive thing, you know, it's like the movie got me. Like when there's a scene in like Up, like when I say Up is a sad movie, it can't be a sad movie, but I mean that as a compliment, that it shows that it's emotionally complex. Jurassic World is sad because it provides a very disturbing, wholly unwanted glimpse into what the future of blockbusters could be. And it seems to forget the basic grammar of making a good blockbuster. It looks cheap. The CGI is some of the worst I've ever seen. I vocally expressed in the theater how crappy the CGI looked. And I don't care how many people looked back at me like I was some asshole. It looked cheap as shit. Nothing in this movie looks as good as what Steven Spielberg did more than 20 years ago with the original Jurassic Park. Hell, nothing looks good as The Lost World. And that was almost 20 years ago too. So it looks cheap. It's very, very, very poorly written. I mean, I've heard reports that Colin Trevorrow and his team of hacks wrote this script in like 5 to 6 weeks, and like the final script in 5 to 6 weeks, and that really shows with this. There are so many illogical decisions in this movie, plot holes that you could drive a fucking truck through. The characters talk and think like idiots. All of them are idiots. Even characters played by actors that I like Chris Pratt. I love Chris Pratt, but he is terrible in this movie, and that's not all his fault. It has to do with the script, because the script is one of the worst I've ever encountered. Everything that happens in the movie just feels lazy. The whole film just brutally lazy. There is so much rampant like sexism and misogyny in this movie. This is one of the most mean, ugly, sexist movies I have ever seen in my life. This might be the most sexist movie I've ever seen. Like, as far as these big blockbuster movies go, and I cannot believe this came out in the same year as Mad Max Fury Road. Or Mad Max Fury Road, it very well balances how awesome like both the men and the women are portrayed. This movie, in Jurassic World, it's all about the men. It's all about the men being, you know, tough, guys are idiots, and Chris Pratt talks to fucking Bryce Dallas Howard with such vulgar sexist language and lingo that I don't even know how he's still employed. Any other situation, this guy would be sued for sexual harassment on the spot. She, like Bryce Dallas Howard's character, is just a cold bitch. Why is she a cold bitch? We don't know, beyond, oh, I have a theme park to run, so that makes me a cold bitch. Again, portraying her completely unfairly, and then the whole movie wants to make her this villain about how, like, oh, I don't know the birthdays of my nephews, so that makes me a terrible aunt. How the fuck does that make you a terrible human being that you don't know your nephew's birthdays? So fucking what? I don't even know my own fucking birthday at some points. I don't even know my close family members' birthdays. Why the fuck, when she barely sees her nephews, why the fuck does that make her a terrible person that she doesn't know her nephew's birthdays? Oh fucking well, that's so stupid. And then, oh my god, the kicker in this movie, that it sold home the point of this being this sexist bullshit. Bryce Dallas Howard receives a phone call from her sister, played by Judy Greer, who I love Judy Greer, and she hasn't found a blockbuster that has really used her talents yet. She plays her sister, and then her sister gives her this speech about how, oh well, you realize that your career as the owner and manager of this theme park is just a stepping stone for you to be a parent. That's all your life is going to amount to. That's all that you're waiting for. You're just waiting for a man to fuck you and impregnate you so you can have kids and realize that you were put on this earth to have children. That's exactly why you exist. Your career as this top dollar earning amusement park owner is just a stepping stone to being a mother. Because that's what all women are put on this earth for. To be moms. They can have children. They have to have children if they want to have any worth as a woman. If they want to have any worth as a female, they have to have children. They have to have a man. Fuck you! This whole stupid movie, it's like this concept is so insulting, and literally I could not believe what I was hearing in the theater, and everybody in the theater just laughed it up and ate it up. Just, oh, this movie's so good! Loud roaring applause at the end of it to everybody that was in that theater, clapping and laughing along with the movie. Fuck you! You are the reason these and I usually don't blame the audience or insult the audience, but if you like this movie, if you even mildly like this movie, I don't understand you. I don't understand your way of thinking. I like, and I've talked to people that love Jurassic World. They go, oh well, I'm gonna go, why is Jurassic World good? Well, because of the T-Rex. No. Why is Jurassic World good? Because of the dinosaurs. If you want to look at dinosaurs, go on Google Images and look at dinosaurs. Hell, go watch the original Jurassic Park. These dinosaurs, they look like shit. The fight at the end is dumb. The whole idea of this Indominus Rex, it's so crappily designed, and it's designed just for convenience, just so they can have action scenes. And the raptors, oh my god. The raptors are the heroes of the story. Chris Pratt has the raptors trained. The raptors are no longer a threat. And then it comes time for the raptors to be villains, because guess what? The Indominus Rex is spliced with DNA from raptors. That means it can communicate with the raptors, and then the raptors go, wait a minute, Chris Pratt is the bad guy. Rawr! And then they go after Chris Pratt and his friends, and they kill a few people. And then, wait a minute, Chris Pratt is looking at me with his gorgeous blue eyes. So I'm a bad raptor. I guess I'll be a good guy again. So the raptor comes in the last few minutes during the big fight between the T-Rex and the Indominus Rex, and comes in, it's dun 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 dun. This raptor runs in, and it's, oh, the raptor's the hero again. And it's so fucking dumb. This whole movie is so stupid. This whole movie is so... I hate this movie so much. And yet there's so much about it that's so horrible. That's so... just... I don't know what the fuck these writers and this terrible director were thinking. I don't get it. What human being looked at this script and went, yes, this is something we definitely should put in our movie? Idiots! All of them! All of the writers, idiots. Brain dead, shallow, sexist idiots. All of them. The lot of them. And even in visually, this movie is lacking. It looks cheap. The CGI looks cheap. They can't even get a fucking crow to look good in CGI. And it's really telling. Like, it's rare that I see a movie from the very first image, I go, oh boy, this is gonna suck. This is gonna be some bullshit. But nothing spelled that out. You could sum this entire movie up visually in that one scene at the very beginning when the little crappy CGI raptor hatches and the egg comes out. When the raptors hatched in the original Jurassic Park, and keep in mind, I am not that crazy about the original Jurassic Park. I like it, but I don't think it's I don't think it's great. But when those raptors hatched in the original Jurassic World, that was magical. That looked awesome. It, like the practical effects with the baby raptors, and the actors could actually interact with it, and it sold you on the fantasy. The famous scene when Dr. Grant and the company first see the dinosaurs on Jurassic Park, when like they're right up in the Jeep and the music starts to play and they all look at the dinosaurs and it's like, oh my god, it's a dinosaur. And then when the guy walks out of the car and he goes, Dr. Grant, welcome to Jurassic Park, and like the music just swells up and it's this vast vista of CGI, like incredible looking CGI dinosaurs, and it gives you this sense of power and awe, and it's majestic to look at, and that visually it feels cinematic. This doesn't. Jurassic World it replaces that with a really weird redesign of the Jurassic World score, and then it's like da 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 da, and it's like missing a bunch of notes, and it's fucking like the vista is all just like this commercialized park, and then they show the dinosaurs right away to where it doesn't work. The dinosaurs come in and go, oh well, here you are, CGI dinosaur, CGI dinosaur, CGI dinosaur, CGI dinosaur, CGI dinosaur, and by the point you're just tired of it. You're just like, well, I've seen everything now, and all the camera views, it just doesn't work. It just looks so cheap. All the magic is gone. It's just replaced by this soulless, nostalgia bait consumerist bullshit. The whole movie is just bullshit. And fuck you for changing the roar of the T-Rex. You couldn't even give me that simple pleasure of hearing the T-Rex roar. Like that iconic, awesome sounding roar from the first Jurassic Park. We have this shitty generic roar in Jurassic World now. So everything about this movie, nearly, like the only thing I liked about this movie is the shot when the Indominus Rex is on the hamster ball and you see it through the reflection. That's it. That's the only thing I liked about Jurassic World. Everything else, I hated. I hate Jurassic World. I fuck you, Jurassic World. Fuck you, Colin Trevorrow. And this guy is doing Star Wars Episode 9. Which, so much for that movie being good. So much for Star Wars Episode 9 being good. Oh, and I recently rewatched The Force Awakens, and I like it now, so yay. But Jurassic World, ladies and gentlemen, this movie is a disturbing, nightmarish. This is like that scene in Batman vs Superman, like that. Like I'm Batman, and when I look upon like that desolate wasteland, that's what I look at when I see Jurassic World. Just this horrible, dystopic vision of blockbusters, and I hate it. I stared into the eye of ugliness, and I saw Jurassic World, and I fucking hated it. And it's easily, hands down, the worst movie. The movie I hated the most. The movie I've hated in the past 2 to 3 years. Out of everything I've seen, this is the worst. Jurassic World is the worst of 2015. And one of the worst of the decade. One of the worst I've ever seen. Alright, so thank you guys for watching. Have a good one, guys. Take care.